Meanwhile, right when it appeared things were patching up between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Vlodoymyr Zelenskyy, the Trump administration sprung a military roadblock on Ukraine. Following its decision to halt aid to the war-torn country, the White House says it's pausing its shared intelligence needed to fend off Russian invaders. The latest move is meant to kickstart talks. Jason Gaidola is back with us again in studio with the latest. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Manisa. After Zelenskyy and Trump held their infamous fiery meeting inside the Oval Office on Friday, the stakes appear to be high. During Trump's State of the Union address last night, he softened his stance on Zelenskyy, and the White House hopes to land a minerals deal with Ukraine in the process.
We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago.
In front of U.S. Congress last night, U.S. President Donald Trump cited a letter from Ukrainian President Vlodoymyr Zelenskyy saying Ukraine is ready to broker a deal to end Russia's invasion. Trump's change of tone comes days after the White House suspended critical assistance to Ukrainian forces, and also in the shadow of the infamous clash between the leaders inside the Oval Office last week.
From the very beginning of the war,
you're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't have your playing cards.
Trump's cited words were also found on Zelensky's social media post, confirming that he's ready to restart negotiations. He also called last week's heated exchange regrettable and that it did not go the way it was supposed to be.
Today, our teams, Ukraine and the United States, started working on the meeting. Andriy Yermak and Michael Waltz spoke, and there is positive progress. We hope to see the first results next week.
However, while they head back to the negotiating table, Ukraine's military will be without critical intel. Today, the Trump administration says it's cutting off shared intelligence needed against Russian troops and artillery.
We have taken a step back and are pausing and reviewing all aspects of this relationship. Since the public statement from Zelenskyy and then these subsequent conversations, which I'm going to walk inside and continue, I think we're going to see movement in very short order.
Movement towards a deal giving critical Ukrainian minerals to the U.S. in exchange for security in Ukraine.
Worst possible option of halting intelligence sharing. That's really something that is deeply crippling potentially to the Ukrainians. The fact that that has been done since the Oval Office shows the extent of the leverage the White House is using here and probably the extent of the work that needs to be done to heal that relationship. It sounded like it was back on track last night, but clearly the messaging from the White House is they feel Kiev needs to do more.
While an agreement awaits, a void remains with Ukraine on the battlefield.
Well, the intelligence, the sophisticated intelligence stuff that the Americans get, nobody else gets that. Two, and all very important for the battlefield, the long-range missile systems. Those are American systems, the Patriots. Those are all American systems. There is no European version of it. So the Americans shut that down. They shut down the whole thing.
Meanwhile, European Union leaders plan to hold emergency meetings aiming to find ways to quickly increase their military spending. Preparations in the event the U.S. walks away from other allies besides Ukraine.
Technically, they could have stayed and fought on their own with EU support, but that's a long, like I think you and I have talked about, that's a highly uncertain, high-risk strategy. And I think he was advised by everybody to at least try to work with Trump.
During a press conference today, the White House's press secretary confirmed that its National Security Council is reconsidering the pause in Ukrainian funding.